Let's do a speed run of the books to my right hand of my reading chair, which is mostly the spiritual ones and some history books. So, we will start with the most important spiritual ones. I just moved them back here. This is Bridging the Sutras and the Tantras. This is the first Dalai Lama, so I think that's around the 1400s or so. This book is really helpful because I'm working through the Lojong preliminary trainings that he has, and it's actually a pretty deep exercise. It's been helping me a lot. Then also I got Louis Yiming's Cultivating the Tao, Taoism and Internal Alchemy. This is 17th century or so, and I only got it because in Minford's I Ching, he's constantly quoting from Magister Louis, and everything he's quoting from him I find to be really insightful, so I wanted to get his alchemy book to see what he had to say. This one I've mentioned before, Seven Taoist Masters, a folk novel of China. This is from 1500s, and it was a teaching book about real people. And it's basically a novel of 7 famous Taoists and how they went about their lives and learned to become good, saintly Taoists. It's a really great way to teach and to learn about this stuff, and it was fairly popular back in the day, and this was a great example of that. And yeah, I say Taoist and Taoist, I don't know, it's not my place. Thrice Great Hermes, this is Mead, so this is, there's actually 3 of these. I got this from Uncle Buck's library, but Mead was an obsessive, and he thinks that the Hermetic texts were probably older than Moses, though I think the consensus now is that they were like 1st century Greek. But so I'm reading through his intro still, and the second volume actually has the texts themselves, but he tried to put everything into them. Then I'm reading Iamblichus's Life of Pythagoras by Thomas Taylor, who was an obsessive 17th century person, quoting from Iamblichus, who is, I don't know, not too long after Christ, a couple hundred years after Christ, I think. And so this is a really important book on influencing, especially like the New England Transcendentalists, about Pythagoreanism, which I'm still trying to learn about. This is my beautiful one from Black Letter Press. This is the Magia, so this is Bruno's, maybe his most in-depth take on his own memory palace. And this is a beautifully done book. Black Letter Press does great work. I'll only lift up one of these, and I'll fall over. This is a Dictionnaire Infernal by Colin de Plancy. This is a devilish dictionary, and the reason I really want it the most, it's in the French, is because of the illustrations. I already used some of those in my graphic novels. Then for nonfiction, I am reading Badawi's An African History of Africa from Dawn of Humanity to Independence. This is it's a high-level history of Africa, but I get to learn a lot this way, and I've always wanted to do the Cape Town to Cairo run, and so this is helping me get ready to decide where I'd want to go on that big drive. Another one, let's put these sideways so I don't just fall over. I mentioned this before, Balloon's A Mechanism of Human Facial Expressions. This was one of the first scientific treatises to ever use photographs. Darwin used a lot for his expressions in man and animals, and basically he would shock people's faces and then see what kind of emotions you could see. It's like a gentle current to keep and so it's all of these pictures of what emotions you see and how the emotions come from muscle. So it's a great study for artists and for people, history of science. America's Great Game by Wilford. This is the early CIA people who loved the Middle East and the Arabs and didn't want Israel to win, basically. And it's a fascinating look at the Great Game and spies right after World War II, which is a time that I'm very interested in. Fathoms, The World and the Whale by Giggs. This is a great book on whales, very sad. Of course, I've read a bunch on whales as a Moby Dicker, or a Melvillian. But I'm learning a lot from this book. It's very poetic, but also very scientific. And then these beauties, I didn't have any grimoires before, the old magic books. And so you can get 5 of them from Black Letter Press, and this was a gift to myself. And some of them are great and deep, some of them are silly and ridiculous, but this is a great one-stop shop to get some really fascinating grimoires. Again, Black Letter Press is doing amazing work in the world. And finally, this is Wanda Gog. I fell in love with her last year, both artistically and otherwise. And so this is her complete, what's the word for everything that someone ever did? I forget. But this has everything she ever did and is very exhaustive on all of her work. And I really like it. She was an amazing children's book illustrator, but also an artist and illustrator in general. So big fan of Wanda Gog and this. So Those are the books by my right hand. And since I have, let's just do one last minute. The Book of Imaginary Beings by Borges, which is an amazing piece of work of imaginary beings, but this is illustrated by Peter Cease, who is an amazing artist. So there's what's by my right hand.